Coming up on the Hong Kong Racing Show, trainer Mark Newnham joins the show fresh from his Hong Kong Derby victory with Invincible Ibis.
When they turned in, I said to my wife, look, it's just a matter now whether he's good enough. And once he ranged up, it was a pretty easy watch the last 200.
We'll have the latest on Romantic Warrior and Ka Ying Rising as they prepare for the next starts. Plus, we preview this weekend at Sha Tin. Thanks for tuning in to the Hong Kong Racing Show, where we get you up to speed with all things in the world of Hong Kong racing, viewed through a North American lens. I'm Andrew Brown. My co-pilot is Alex Evers, who is back stateside after being at Sha Tin for last weekend's Hong Kong Derby. How was it, Alex?
Oh, it was wonderful, Brownie. Lovely day. Weather got great. Had the BMWs driving around the parade ring. And then like you said, you guys touted him, Invincible Ibis, your boy. He did it. He ran really, really, really well. Incredible race. Great ride by Hugh Bowman. And now we're on to Champions Day time, Brownie. The season just goes right along.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're looking forward to talking more about Invincible Ibis's win in the Hong Kong Derby with winning trainer Mark Newnham very shortly. He's been on fire of late too, so there's plenty to catch up with Mark. But firstly, let's check out some news. And the world's best sprinter, Ka Ying Rising, looked as good as ever during the week, winning a trial on the turf as he prepares for his next start in the Group 2 Sprint Cup on April 6. There he is going to the wire under a pretty strong hold from regular rider Zach Purton. Here's what Zach had to say straight after the trial.
Yeah, he's going really well. It's good to be back on him. Nice little hit out for him. He'll run in a couple of weeks and get ready for the Champions meeting.
Yeah, and that was the fastest 1,000-metre trial we've ever seen from Ka Ying Rising. He was doing it easy too. Also trialling this week, Romantic Warrior, who also looked terrific under Hong Kong Derby winning jockey Huey Bowman, keeping the seat warm for J-Mac. Romantic Warrior looking for a record-extending 4th QE2 Cup next month. Alex, he won't have it easy though with Japanese Stars Masquerade Ball and Museum Mile set to travel over for it. So it should be a good race, that one.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to shape up to probably be his toughest test at Sha Tin in a long, long time. He's taken on all the Japanese raiders at his hometown, and the only ones that have been able to get him is Forever Young and Soul Rush on the overseas journey. So it'll be a great race. And you got to think right now, at this point in time of the season, it's going to be the highest rated race on the Longines World Best Horse Races with those two big Japanese stars. I know we haven't got to the European season yet, but this looks like a star-studded affair, and I can't wait to see this one. J-Mac's going to be fired up if he wins that for sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure that Joe Moreira has ridden Museum Mile once or twice before as well. So he'll be in place in Hong Kong. So perhaps those two will link up again for that particular race. So not just the star horses, but the star jockeys will be around for that race. So really looking forward to that. Shout out to Romantic Warriors trainer Danny Shum, who had a 4-timer at Happy Valley during the week. It was a very big night for Danny. There was another bit of news probably from last weekend's Derby meet too, Alex, with Hot Delight.
Yeah, 3 for 3 now. Francis made the comment that he's more advanced than Golden 60 was at this stage. It's hard to compare a horse to Golden 60, but he's run incredibly well, and he faced a tough field, did it exceptionally well again. So a horse to look forward to going into next season and see how he finishes off the season. He's going to be up there in the ratings pretty soon and have to take on some tougher competition, but he's done it well within himself this far, and he did it again. So he'll be one to follow. Maybe think for a race probably around Champions Day, I would imagine. So hopefully we see him on the Champions Day undercard as well, like we saw Golden 60 back in 2019. So we'd love to see it, Brownie. Always looking forward, never looking back.
That's true. All right. Well, I did mention Danny Shum had a 4-timer at Happy Valley just this Wednesday night. Gone a week prior, trainer Mark Newnham had a 5-timer at Happy Valley. He, of course, followed that up with victory in last weekend's Hong Kong Derby with Invincible Ibis. And we're pleased to welcome Mark into the show now. Mark, welcome back to the show and congratulations on your first Hong Kong Derby victory, the first of many, we hope. How did you and the team celebrate on Sunday night?
Yeah, hi Andrew, hi Alex. Actually, very quietly. I was exhausted by the end of the day, so my wife had to go back to Sydney for a few days, so I took her to the airport, came back, gave the dog a quick walk, and watched the replay again, and went to bed. So it was nothing outrageous. I was up the next morning at 3:30, bright and early, and staff were all still buzzing. So we had a little dinner last night with just myself and Hugh and the owners, and there's a big party scheduled. I think the 24th of April. So my secretary Karen's organising that, and I'm sure that'll be the time to let the hair down a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have thought that maybe Daniel Ziegel, one of the owners who we had on the show last week as a special guest, might have been leading the charge to the after party, but you must have escaped it. I'm sure they went off and had a big night, did they?
Yeah, well, Daniel, he yells that loudly. His voice goes quite quickly. So by the time I saw him on Tuesday, he was only just able to speak again.
Oh, that's awesome. We're going to roll the replay now, Mark. I can't imagine a trainer is ever feeling relaxed while watching their horse contest a Hong Kong derby. But where Huey had Invincible Ibis placed and the way he was traveling in transit, it must have relieved some nerves.
Yeah, it was actually an enjoyable race to watch because he was in the right spot, and it just really came down to whether he was going to be good enough or not. I had confidence in the horse and had plenty of confidence in my jockey, so it was just a matter of really giving him a trouble-free race, and then the rest is up to the horse then. But when they turned in, I said to my wife, "Look, it's just a matter now whether he's good enough." And once he ranged up, it was a pretty easy watch the last 200.
Absolutely was. Did watching the jockey cam give you a new perspective of what Huey was going through?
Oh, look, I've been in those situations myself. The part that surprised me was that there was no swearing. It generally you might ask once or twice politely, but then the third time you're generally a little bit more forceful. So maybe Hugh was aware that he did have the camera on his helmet with the sound on. So I thought he was pretty polite actually.
I showed my wife and she was like, "This is incredible to see." She's like, "I didn't realize that they communicate like that during the races." And I was like, "Well, yeah, there's no blinkers on the horse to say left or right or anything like that."
Gary! Gary!
It was incredible. And you made an equipment change on him that took the cheek pieces off. What went into that, or did it? Do you think it had an effect on him going into the race?
Oh, it certainly had a positive effect. I mean, we needed them on him early in some of the shorter races just to get him to focus and travel in a better position. But once going up in distance to the 2000, I needed him to relax completely and save his energy. So, the cheek pieces similar to blinkers, it just keeps them a little more focused and gets them up traveling a little bit stronger through the race. But when you're stepping up in distance, for the first time to 2000, you really need the horse to relax and breathe and save all his energy, which he did. And Hugh gave him a perfect ride.
Did you get on him in track work that week early in the morning?
Yeah, I rode him in his final gallop on the Thursday morning. Hugh rode him in his main piece of work the Saturday morning before. And I rode him on the Thursday prior.
Did he give you an indication that he was going to have a performance like that when you rode him?
Look, he was as well as we could have him. So I think, going into one of those races, if you're completely happy with the horse's preparation, it just comes down to a trouble-free race and whether your horse is good enough on the day. But I was relaxed going into the race, knowing that we'd had a trouble-free preparation. The horse he's been good all season, and we're able to take those steps along the way, and he really he kept improving, which was what he needed to do, and finishing off the 1800 strongly gave us confidence going to the 2000 that he'd run it out well.
Now, I don't like to bring it up, Mark, of course, but 12 months ago, you were just defeated by that agonising short head in the Derby. You come back and win with Invincible Ibis, and in record time as well. How much did that loss kind of shape your approach to this year's campaign? Did you learn from it?
Oh look, it's haunted me. I know that, and I mean because there's such a big build up to the 4-year-old series here. I've had to watch the replay 100 times on the big screen, and I just walk away when it comes on. So hopefully this year's derby is replayed as many times as last year's, because I won't mind standing there watching it. But I think, look, they had very similar form, these two horses, leading into the 3 legs of the series. Their first season of racing, they both had 2 starts, and both didn't win. Both ran well, but they'd shown enough talent that if we prepared them to get to their best and to have a rating suitable to get into the series, that they were good enough to compete. They're different styles of horses. Invincible Ibis is an easier horse to manage. He's more relaxed, whereas last year My Wish was all about getting into use his energy in the right direction, because he was very hot horse early on. Leading into the first leg of the 4-year-old series, he burst through the barriers one day. Luke was he was lucky enough to catch him and keep hold of him, and he came out and won that race. But he's a horse that always of high energy, and you're always trying to slow him down, which is difficult. But look, he did a really good job to be only beaten a short head in his derby. But the difference came down to the barrier draws. Invincible Ibis drew barrier 3, whereas My Wish drew 14.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and speaking of My Wish and hard to slow him down, he didn't look like he was slowing down during a trial during the week under Huey as well. You happy with the way he's come back?
Yeah, no, he's bounced off that 2,000 metre run against Romantic Warrior in really good shape. It was run at a breakneck speed, and it just really exposed that he's probably not a true 10 furlong horse. Mile is about his sweet spot. So he's freshening up to go to the Group 2 on the 6th, and then that'll be his run into the Champions Day on the 26th of April.
Okay. And did I read Huey's going to be riding?
Yes, yeah. Well, Hugh's riding him on the 6th, and then
Yeah.
he's got a decision to make after the 6th as to whether he rides Invincible Ibis or My Wish. So I'll leave that one with him.
Oh God, tough decision. Okay, fair enough. You're in a bit of a ding dong battle with Casper Founds for the Trainers Championship. Of course, a few days before your historic win in the Derby, a 5-timer at Happy Valley. What was that night like?
Oh, unbelievable! I thought our best chances were late in the night, so we banged out the first 3 races, and it was just one of those things where everything was falling into place. We'd had 4 winners by the time my best bet of the night came up, so I was going to look pretty stupid if it didn't win. But that was Crimson Flash, and he got the job done. And we were going for 6 in the last race with Max Q, and he travelled in a perfect position in running, and did look a chance into the straight, but he fell he probably fell half a length short, and finished third.
Yeah, well, actually, Max Q back again this weekend. We'll ask you about him in a second. He might form part of another 5-timer this weekend for you. You never know. Make amends for not being part of the 6-timer. I was just getting back to Casper. Of course, he's got you by one win at the moment, but perhaps the column that really counts, if you wanted to rub it in, is the column down the far right hand side, stakes one, where I think you've got him covered by about 30 million Hong Kong dollars at the moment. But is the trainers championship a focus for you for the rest of the season?
Oh, it certainly is now.
Yeah.
I started the season with, a lot of horses that had potential, and a few of those have come to the fore. But when you have a look how close the trainers title is, there's probably any one of about 5 or 6 that could win it. There's not much between the top 5, and then you've got John Size lurking about 10 wins away, but that's not a big margin for John to pick up. He's done that. He's done that regularly over the years. He's always strong in the back end of the season. So it'll probably
Mhm.
come down to the new horses that are starting off, and the horses that are going to come into the system and start racing from pretty much here onwards. Francis Loy's produced a couple of really nice horses lately. Hot Delight, one of them that's won his first 3. So
Mm.
if he's got any more of those, he's going to be a force as well.
Do you have any up and comers that you're looking forward to for next season?
Yes, I do. I've got a couple of nice horses there that'll probably have similar profiles to Invincible Ibis and My Wish. Not too many starts this season, with their main aim being the 4-year-old series next year.
Right. You
Very good.
got a name for us?
Oh, we don't want. Well, I don't
Come
want to go
on,
off too
Brownie.
soon.
Fair enough. Fair
No,
enough.
Well,
no,
there's
no, no
there's there's
names.
there's one or two I'll keep to myself, but there's one that's raced already, and he's running next week. A horse called Lucky Ranger. He's
Okay.
had 2
Yeah,
starts. He's drawn the outside gate both times. He was an impressive winner in Class 4 at his last start, and he's running on the 6th. He's just had a little freshen up. He trialled well a couple of weeks ago. So the 6th Class 4 1400 Luke Ferraris will be his next aim.
Okay. Great. Penciled into my black book. Thank you very much for that one. What do you think about Casper getting Joe Moreira as a stable jockey for the last 3 months of the season?
Well, it's certainly going to help him. You see Joe here on international, on the IJC night in December, and he was electric.
Mm,
So if he's riding the majority of Casper's horses at Happy Valley, they're going to get results. So
yeah.
he's going to be hard to run down.
Can you, if you wanted to get Joe's services, is that possible? How does it all work when he's sort of almost exclusively riding for Casper?
Yeah, look, he's available as long
Right.
as Casper hasn't got a runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get access to Joe, which may help me.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, you've got a pretty stacked book of runners this weekend at Sha Tin, so hopefully you can tip our viewers into a winner or two. Should we go through a couple of them? I mean, race
Yeah,
1, you kick off with Ace on the class drop, so you could even start the card with the winner. He's just come into your stable, right?
yeah, and look, it's his first run in Class 5. He's shown enough talent in previous runs to be a winner. I was happy enough with his trial. I've been pleased with his work. Jerry Chow rides him, and Jerry's been in very good form. So no, he's got a good chance.
Yeah, and then race 2 as well. Russet Glow probably had some excuses last out.
Yeah, look, strangely enough, he drew barrier 1 every start he's had so far, the 3 starts. But it worked against him last time. He didn't get a lot of room. He's
Yeah.
kept improving. He'll be better suited at the 1400, but he's still quite green. So he's going to need to, uh, not make any mistakes to be able to be a winning chance.
Okay, one that both Alex and I are keen on. So sorry for the extra weight. Max Q up in class, down in weight. Like his trainer, very consistent at the moment.
Yeah, he's had a great season. He's had 7 starts and run in the top 3 in all 7. But now he's crept up to an 80 rating. But it does help him being bottom weight in Class 2. I think he's just struggled his last couple carrying top weight in Class 3. He's been effective at both tracks. He's drawn well with a lightweight. So, look, based on the way he's performed all season, you'd expect he'd run in the top 3 again.
Yep. Don't know if you two are In Excess fans, but just a side note, Michael Hutchence at the same time he was singing lead singer for In Excess, he was also lead singer for a band called Max Q. Only lasted for a couple of years, late 80s, early 90s. There you go, just in case.
Well, I didn't know that, and I wasn't an Excess fan, but no, I did not know that.
Likewise.
Where else are we? I guess Lucky Sam Gore, also another good chance of yours.
Yeah, well, he's had a freshen up since the Classic Cup. He just didn't run
Yeah.
out the 1800. He pulled quite hard, but another horse had been in great form leading up to the 4-year-old series. 14 to 16 is his best trip, but he does have to take on Salon S, who looks a very smart horse of Frankie Law's. That's won, I think he's won 3 out of 3 now. So he's going to be ahead of us in the run. He's a leader, Salon S. So we're going to have to need someone to soften him up early for us to be over the top of him late.
Yeah, fair call. Okay, so if you were to have another 5-timer at Sha Tin this weekend, well, last one was Happy Valley, but a Sha Tin 5-timer, who are 2 horses that would be likely to appear in that 5-timer?
I'd say Ace and Max Q.
Alex, I don't know if it happened for you, but he just cut out for me.
Same. That's good. It's a mystery. We'll have to watch back the replay.
We just
Ace
missed that
and
when
Max
you
Q.
Ace and Max Q. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
2 horses there I quite like. All right, Mark. Well, thanks again so much for your time and congratulations. Alex, have you got anything else for the great man?
No, thanks for always letting me pet your dog when you're walking him after the races. I love it. It makes me feel like a little piece of home there. It always makes me happy to see you guys out there.
Yeah, no, Ralph's he's got quite the fan base because he's probably Sha Tin's friendliest dog. He'll run up to anybody.
He's so good.
Again, congratulations with Invincible Ibis last weekend. It was just awesome to watch, and for you to do it in year 3 as well, it must just be an amazing feeling, and how your season's going as well. So congratulations, and thanks again for joining us on the show.
No, anytime. Thanks, guys.
Time to take a look at the feature race at Sha Tin this weekend, and it's coming up nice and early on the card. It's race for a Class 2 over the 1,600 metres on the turf. And the informed Huey Bowman rides California Totality #1. Beauty Eternal could be ready to strike in a race such as this. Pocketing, an interesting Hong Kong debutante for David Hayes. He has a winner actually over the Derby runner-up Numbers back in Australia. Sky Heart, probably a little unlucky at the Valley last out. Max Q looks a great chance for Mark Newnham, a lot of weight relief. Speed map shows Sky Heart leading. Alex, what are your thoughts here?
Interesting race because pocketing I was photographing him when he got over in the quarantine last month, but his trials haven't been that great. And I don't know if that's just he's not a horse that trials really well over the dirt, or that wasn't the design of the trials, but he certainly has the credentials beating the likes of Numbers back over in Australia. For me, I'm probably going to look to the bottom in weight, the lightweight Max Q. I like him, and I like, I'll probably put pocketing in for 3rd, and I'll mix him up there with Skyheart, who gets in at a lightweight as well. And he's traveled well for Casper. So those are probably the 3 that I'm going to be looking at in that race.
Okay, similar numbers for us, and we are aligned with the on-top selection, Max Q, for me as well. I don't think he's going to know himself, carrying 15 pounds less than last start, looks progressive, and has been a picture of consistency this season. Pocketing, I think, could surprise in his first Hong Kong appearance, as we've both mentioned, brings that good Aussie form. And has a win over Numbers, who was runner-up in the Derby last weekend in Hong Kong. And Beauty Eternal on his day could beat all of these, just needs to recapture a bit of his old form. Best bet for me, race 9, number 9, Young Champion, who I think can take the shortest way home from post position 1 and get the job done under another informed jockey at the moment, Andrea Atzani. So race 9, number 9, Young Champion for me. What about you, Alex?
I don't know if it's the best bet yet, but there's a race that I'm really looking forward to. Another progressive 3-year-old Salon S taking on the likes of Lucky Sam Gore and All's Well and Romantic Gladiator, who ran really, really well at 12 furlongs at Happy Valley, son of Galileo. So he's bred for much further, and he gets the 1400 with Andre Adziniep, who's been riding really well. So I'm going to keep an eye on Romantic Gladiator just to see what type he is, but also Salon S, who's been a menace on the front end, hard to beat so far, undefeated in Hong Kong, and his time for 7/8 is 120.72, which is ridiculously quick. So he's going to do it with the high weight this time. He's been lightweight last time, but that's kind of a race that I want to keep an eye on for horses going forward as well.
For sure. Lucky Sangor, another top chance in that race for Mark Newnham as well. All right then, Alex. So you home for a little while now?
Home for a little while, Brownie. We're excited to watch some racing this weekend. We got the Dubai World Cup meet, see what Forever Young does, the nemesis of Romantic Warrior, and yeah, home for a couple weeks. It's nice. I got a Santa Anita next weekend, I believe, for the Santa Anita Derby.
And a couple of Derby preps this weekend too, the Arkansas Derby and the Florida Derby. So a lot of interest around the country and around the world this weekend. So very exciting stuff. Well, Alex, it's great to have you back stateside.
Thank you. Lovely to chat with you, Brownie. I want to hear you call it the Arkansas Derby in Arkansas. That's kind of one that I want to hear.
Once upon a time, I would have said it was the Arkansas Derby.
Too good.
All right, mate. Good to chat as always, and to everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. As always, don't forget to drop a comment on our YouTube channel, or if you're watching this streaming on X, any questions you've got about Hong Kong racing, fire them through. We'll get Alex to answer them next week. All your free PPs, replays, expert picks, and more. Hong Kong Jockey Club website. Keep following us, Hong Kong Racing North America on X, and we will see you next week on the Hong Kong Racing Show.